How are you doing? We already kind of had a little deeper.
Well, my little darling, I was going to ask you, first off, I get to see you in less than a week.
Oh my God. I feel I've been doing so much better mentally the past 2 weeks, and I think it's because I know I get to see you soon.
Listen, there is something to be said about two forms of therapy that are free. The first one is get yourself something on your calendar that you can look forward to. That's free therapy right there.
Yeah.
The second one is doing something kind for someone else.
Oh, good.
That's your other second form of therapy, is because there's always someone hurting more than you are, right? Mm-hmm. So I want everyone out there to think about the last kind thing that you did for someone. And if it's been a minute, choose someone today to do something kind for. And if you really want bonus points, either do it for a stranger or do it for someone who is not your favorite person.
Oh, that one's powerful.
That one is very powerful because then it's just completely for not yourself. And that's a good reminder that we are here to lift other people up.
Yes, we
Elena,
are.
Speaking of lifting other people,
Love lifts us up where we
belong. That's your Aunt Lisa's favorite movie of all time is Officer and a Gentleman.
I've never seen it.
Luann, I'm not going to lie.
You don't like
care
it?
for the movie.
Yeah.
I don't.
But maybe I'll watch it on my own time to just assess.
You can watch it all you want to, but your mommy will not be watching it with you.
Friends, I did make a letterbox, so it has the most random movies on there right now, but you can follow me at Laney Girly Girl on Letterbox. Right now it's like...
What in the world is that?
It is like a... You know, like Goodreads?
Yes, I do.
It's like that for movies, so you can put like what you're currently watching.
Sorry.
Yeah, you need to make one.
Kira Whitman Roberts needs to be all over this. Say it again. It's what? Letterbox?
Letterboxed with a D at the end, like a past tense. Letterboxed. It's cute. Yeah, you should make one, and then you can add all your friends on there. Like I just made it, and I only have like 3 friends. I have like Greg and Allie and Simeon. So
I will follow you, Elena.
Okay. But yeah.
And what is it again? What Laney what?
Laney Girly Girl. And it's a picture of me as a child.
Now is girly I-E or Y?
It's a Y.
Oh, very interesting. I know what I was going to ask you that I stopped myself from asking you before we started recording because I wanted you to explain it to our friends out there because I do a really poor job of it. What do you actually do?
Right now, like at my job?
For Disney, yeah. What do you actually do?
Okay, so I am the customer engagement SEO intern. SEO stands for search engine optimization, and it is basically optimizing your Google search engine. So there's 2 forms. There's paid search and there's organic search, and I'm organic search. And so you know when you search on Google and you search flip-flops and the first couple of results say ad?
Yes.
That is paid search. So that's like my friend James and everyone on his team. They do that. And then everything under that that's not an ad is my team. So it's just doing lots of organic tactics to make sure that our websites are ranking #1 for the correct terms. Like if you search Walt Disney World Orlando, we better be the first people to pop up. And if we're not, that's a problem.
How can you affect that?
There's so many ways. A lot of it is technical on the back end of your website. A lot of it is the content on your website, who's linking back to your website. And then there's local, which is a whole different avenue. And that's like all the listings on Google Maps and Google My Business or Apple Maps when like you're trying to get anywhere in Disney World. Like that also is my team.
That is craziness. And it's my lovely, amazing hairdresser, Noelle, who comes to see me at my house. I don't even have to go anywhere. Was over this morning, and she is very vested in Elena and I's relationship. She just found out that her firstborn baby is a girl, and she is over the moon because she said, this was her quote, that it's her dream to have her Elena. She wants to have a mother-daughter relationship with her daughter like Elena and I have, which is a huge compliment.
Yes. Aw.
So she's always so invested in what Elena's doing, and I find myself very ill-equipped to tell people. People are like, "What does she do for Disney?" I'm like, marketing.
That's fine.
They're like, "Oh, how does she do that?" I don't know.
You could just say she works with search engines.
Search engine optimization.
Yep.
And of course, she's like, "What's SEO stand for?" And I went, "Social something."
Nope. I'm long away from my social media days, and I don't want to return to that.
No, I know. Exactly. Okay, well, thank you for answering that for me, because now I won't have to. Elena, we are recording this week because we want our episode to drop in time for
St. Patrick's Day.
St. Patty's Day. So Elena and I were like, for Valentine's, we did Nora Ephron. What could we do for for St. Patrick's Day? So where did we land, Elena?
We're doing Shrek. I'm just kidding. That's
Oh
Scottish.
my gosh, why didn't we? Oh yes, we could have done Brave and Shrek and we would have been off the mark.
But I think those are, both Scottish.
They are.
No, we're doing a double feature. We're doing Leap Year and P.S. I Love You.
Now, my sweet friends.
My sweet summer children.
Oh, I can't do an Irish accent, or I'd try.
Lassie.
Oh,
I can't.
The luck of the Irish is not with you.
Would you? No, that's Scottish. And even
I
that was a
know.
bad
See,
Scottish accent.
We could be like Uncle Marky, and everything that we do turns into the same accent.
Mm-hmm.
These two movies, friends, Leap Year and P.S. I Love You, when you Google rom-com set in Ireland, they are in the top 5. Mainly because there are so very few that are set in Ireland. And apparently, it's for good reason.
Okay. Yes, but no, but yes, but no. But yes.
Oh, Elena. Okay, first off, if it's okay with you, I would like to start with Leap Year.
That's fine. Let's get the trash out the way first.
Amen. My dear friends, Elena, you can throw to me anytime you want, but who stars in Leap Year?
Amy Adams.
Amy Adams is the main character in Leap Year, and she's from what else?
Enchanted, Arrival, Julie and Julia. The list goes on. She's an icon. She's an icon.
She is, and we love her. This is not why we love her.
No, bestie girl.
No, you guys, this is going to be an episode worth listening to, mainly because of the scathing reviews that have come out. Oh my gosh. All right. The main male character is Declan, played by Matthew Good.
Do we think Declan is cute? Yes or no?
Such a good question. Now, for my friends out there who are like, who is Matthew Good?
Adam Scott is in it too. Sorry to interrupt.
Adam Scott is in it too, which I did not remember. I don't know that I never watched it all the way through, because we have a 10-minute rule in our family. And if you are 10 minutes in and you are not feeling it, you don't waste the rest of the time watching it. So I had never made it through Leap Year until we decided that we were going to do this episode.
See,
Had you seen it?
Yes, and I didn't have the 10-minute option because I was in the 7th grade and I was at the movie theater. So I had to stay. And I said to Greg, I have not rewatched it since watching it in the movie theater in the 7th grade. So I said to Greg, I was like, this is probably going to be bad, but I remember enjoying it at age 12. So, which tracks.
Okay.
I do feel like it is like almost made for 12-year-olds, but then there's like sex in it a little bit. So like maybe not. I don't know, but
I totally understand that. Do you remember anything else that Matthew Good has been in?
Is he actually Irish?
Well, gosh, what a great question. He is, yes.
Okay, I couldn't tell you then.
British. He's British. He's from Devon.
I've never seen that.
And no.
Oh. That's the location he's from. I'm like, what is Devon? Never heard of it.
Oh my gosh. No, that is actually the location where he's
Got it.
from. No, he was in a movie called Chasing Liberty
Yes.
with Mandy Moore.
Yes, I've seen that.
I have never seen that, but that was like one of his first movies. He's actually in the later Downton Abbey series.
Okay.
And
Booked and blessed.
And honey, he is one of the bad guys in one of our least favorite movies. And I'm sorry, I know we're going to get a lot of backlash for this one, but he's from The Watchmen.
Oh, I hate that movie.
Yeah.
It's just yucky.
It's a little too vulgar. Mm-hmm. It does not need to be as vulgar as it is. Like we were talking about the Judd Apatow rom-com genre and how it kind of is not really rom-com. It's more graphic. And The Watchmen, from a perspective, Deadpool is a little graphic, or a lot graphic, and it's got a lot of adult humor in it. Watchmen is like that, except for there's no humor.
Yeah.
I don't even know what genre.
Well,
but anyway,
I think people would argue with you that there's no humor, but it's just not. We don't find that funny. So
okay, I appreciate that. Yeah. Yes. So don't come at me if Watchmen's one of your favorite movies, because it's also one of my husband's favorite movies, and that's fine. You're allowed to like it. It just was not for us, right, babe?
Yeah, no.
So do you think he's handsome? I'm sorry, you asked a question and I haven't answered. Do you think he's handsome?
I feel like if his personality had been better, I would have found him handsome, but he kind of annoyed me the whole movie, so then I started picking him apart a little bit.
Would you like to give a synopsis, Elena, about what Leap Year is about?
Sure. It's been 3 weeks since I watched it, so I might be a little rusty. But basically, long story short, Amy Adams has a stick up her ass, and she wants the picture perfect life. They kind of touch on she has daddy issues a little bit, so there's that. But she's with Adam Scott, but there's no spark there. But on paper, they make sense. They're trying to get approved to get this really bougie condo. And then he is I'm going to go on a business trip. Oh, she keeps expecting him to propose. And then he gives her these gorgeous diamond earrings, and she's sad. And I'm girly, you basically just got 2 huge engagement rings for your ears. But
yeah, just turn one of them into a ring.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But she decides she's going to follow him on his business trip in Ireland because it's going to be leap year. And apparently there's this old tradition that a woman can propose on leap year, which also really dates the movie as well, because it's she has to propose to him on this day, when in reality she could have proposed to him whenever. But
absolutely,
her character would be one to worry about the societal norms of that. So anyways, she of course runs into some shenanigans and goes through a whole rigmarole, and along the way Declan is constantly popping up, and she's of course annoyed with him. She just wants to be on her way. The enemies to lovers trope. And then we're supposed to believe that they fall in love. And then Adam Scott does propose to her. He proposes to her out of to get the condo, because apparently the condo's very old fashioned, and they're well, you need to be at least engaged to live here. So then she finds that out and is oh my God, I'm going to go propose to this man in Ireland that I hung out with for 3 days. And happily ever after.
Yes, you guys, it is that bad. It really is
Spoilers.
that bad.
Sorry, guys. Spoilers.
That's an actual tradition in Ireland. It's called Ladies' Privilege or Bachelor Day.
It's like Sadie Hawkins dance.
Yes, except for it's supposedly
Marriage.
for life. Yeah. So, this movie is somewhere I read, and I'm sorry I can't exactly remember where, that they were this is what Lifetime was created for.
Right. How did this get a big budget?
This movie in particular absolutely outraged the people of Ireland.
Ooh, that's juicy.
Donald Clark of the Irish Times This is a quote from Wikipedia. Donald Clark of the Irish Times gave the film 1 star out of 5 and, in a scathing review, described it as offensive, reactionary, patronizing filth and cited the film as evidence that Hollywood is incapable of seeing the Irish as anything but IRA men or twinkly rule imbeciles. Paul Whittington of the Irish Independent describes the film as grotesque and insulting, padwackery, and says Good is out of his depth as he struggles badly with his accent.
Oh, since he's British, I guess.
And Matthew Good admitted, I just know that there are a lot of people who will say this is the worst film of 2010. And he revealed that the main reason he signed on to the film was so that he could work close to home and be able to see his girlfriend and newborn child.
Wow.
Yes. And it doesn't get any better, you guys. On Rotten Tomatoes, it got 23% from critics. They only got 47% audience reviews. So usually when Elena and I do these, if the critics are in the tank, usually the audience steps up. Not so in this case. There's more interesting reviews. Let's see. Nathan Rabin. I really like this guy. He's from the AV Club. Again, this is from Wikipedia. Gave it a grade of C- and concluded the film functions as the cinematic equivalent of a Shamrock Shake.
Oh.
Sickeningly.
Hey, don't sleep on my Shamrock Shake like that.
I know, right?
The Shamrock Shake deserves better than that.
Sickeningly, I can't say it. Sickeningly artificially sweet, formulaic, and about as authentically Gaelic as the Irish Spring commercial.
Oh my God.
You guys, she is not wrong. What happens in this movie is incredibly far-fetched. So she goes to Ireland, like Elena said, following Adam Scott, who I would follow Adam Scott pretty much anywhere.
Yep.
Do you find him attractive too, baby?
Okay, here's the thing. I do think he's a handsome man. He reminds me of Alex, my brother. So.
Oh, honey.
And not to the point where I'm like, oh, he's like, I want to be with him. I'm just like, oh, what a handsome little elf man.
He is. You know what, you guys, if you've ever seen Parks and Recreation, when we watch Parks and Rec, we're like, oh my gosh, it's Alex. Because you know how he comes up with that game?
Yeah, the Cones of Dunshire. And then he makes this claymation movie. And he's obsessed with calzones.
You're right. You're so right. Alex reminds us of a lot of movie stars.
He also
actually, because
reminds me of Eric Foreman from That 70s Show.
Yes, I ping pong back and forth between Eric Foreman and honey. Come on.
Ashton Kutcher's character?
Yes, Ashton Kutcher's character, because Alex reminds me of both of them. It's so funny. But anyway, the Adam Scott character, if you've not watched Parks and Rec, you got to get into that. Let's just do a sideline on that. That's great television.
Yeah.
But so she follows him out there and she gets stranded, like Elena said, for 3 days. And this guy ends up being like her Uber driver. And if you had to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, Elena, where's their chemistry come in at?
A 0. Like I guess like it's kind of, I do love like in romance novels, I love like the shared bed trope. Like there's only one bed. That's always cute.
Yes.
But like that literally was the only time that it was like, oh, that's kind of like cute and like a little bit of a spark. But everything else, like, no. I guess like I think they're trying to get us to believe that like she's uptight and he's laid back and like he's gonna teach her to like let loose and like be free and be herself. But like honestly, I think she was better paired with Adam Scott. Like they're both like just love the one you're with. Like y'all both are uppity and stuffy and like, oh well, that he proposed to you out of convenience. Like her character seems like she would have been fine with that. So
absolutely. In my mind, where do you see this marriage in 5 years, Elena?
Declan and Amy Adams.
Yes.
Divorced with one baby that has to be sent back and forth to Ireland and America.
She's not wrong. So, girls, gentlemen, everyone, here is the thing. If you're looking for something that's going to show you beautiful scenery, and if you just want to, I don't even know. Like Elena said, maybe if you're looking for something to watch with your younger daughter.
Yeah, it is more age appropriate, I would say.
I would say, yeah, I would too. I don't remember there being anything vulgar.
No, they allude to sex, but I don't think anyone actually has sex in the movie. It's just like he sees her silhouette in the shower like once, and that's it.
Yeah. But it's definitely on par with your Hallmark movies, your Lifetime movies.
Or if you love like the cheesiest of cheesy rom-com novels, this is because they remind me a lot of some like terrible rom-coms that I've read. So...
Absolutely.
Specifically, there's this one book I read last year that I a lot of people love it, but like I hated it so much because it was so unrealistic and just insane. It was called Paris is Always a Good Idea. And if you like that book, you would love this because it reminds me a lot of that book.
That is so funny. Who wrote that? Do you know?
I'm totally blanking on the name.
So just one last really well-written critique is A.O. Scott of the New York Times saw it as so witless, charmless, and unimaginative that it can be described as a movie only in strictly a technical sense.
I felt like, too, even the costumes didn't hit the way I think they wanted them to. I felt like the style they were trying to go for with her was like a Zooey Deschanel, like, ModCloth. But it was the colors were so drab the whole movie. It just, like, did not hit. You know what I mean?
So yes, I do know what you mean. Absolutely. It hit 32.6 million, and the budget was only 19. So if you're looking at it from a producer's, no, it didn't make a landslide, but at least it didn't lose money, I guess, is what you could say. So what would you give it if you had to rate it out of 10?
I think I did rate it on Letterboxd. I think I gave it 1.5 stars.
Out of 5 or out of 10?
Out of 5.
Oh, out of 5.
I thought that was pretty generous, honestly.
So it'd be like 3 out of 10. Well, this IMDb comes in at 6.4 out of 10.
Huh?
I would love to know who is...
What about that compared to Yaya? I think Yaya was like super low. And I'm like, I would way rather watch Yaya than watch that.
Amen. Well, unfortunately, that's really all the time we're going to give to Leap Year because... truthfully, it doesn't deserve more. I'm so sorry. Now, Elena, tell us about the other movie we watched.
Okay, this one I actually really, really enjoy. We watched P.S. I Love You. The Girls Who Get It. So good. They only go to Ireland, though, for, like, the last 20 minutes. So that's my only, like, caveat, I would say. With, like, in relation to this episode. However, like, there are a lot of aspects to it that are super unrealistic. Like Hilary Swank being like, this shoebox of an apartment, and it's like this huge apartment in Manhattan, and it's like, girl, what are you doing?
So give us the synopsis, Elena. Just jump right on in.
All right, I'm gonna make her short and sweet because I'm sure many of you have seen this one. I feel like it's a bigger movie. Basically, there's Hilary Swank and Gerard Butler.
Yeah,
and they're like early married, like the first 5 years. They don't have kids yet, but like they're just like bickering over stupid like married people stuff. I will say like a lot of the conversations they're bickering about, I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely in that phase of my marriage right now. But then
that's interesting. Yep. I mean, there are some relatable arguments.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Especially being in that phase where it's like, should we have kids? Obviously, we are now realizing we're not in that space anymore, but that it is like a hard space to be in of like, what are we going to do? Like, what's the next step? But it's supposed to be juxtaposed with the fact that Gerard Butler ends up passing away from cancer. So it's kind of like showing you that those silly, stupid little fights like did not matter. But anywho, we get a little bit of a picture of their marriage at the beginning. Gerard Butler passes away, which we don't see any of that. We just kind of cut to his funeral. He's Irish, by the way. She's American. They met when she was studying abroad in college and then fell in love. Everyone told them, oh, you should never, like, it'll never last. And they lasted, but he passed away, so they never got to have their happily ever after. And then throughout the journey of the movie, Hilary Swank is that Hilary Swank?
It is Hilary Swank.
Okay.
Yes.
I get her mixed up with Hilary Banks. Isn't there Hilary Banks too?
Oh no, Banks. Golly day.
The girl from What to Expect When You're Expecting?
Yes, but it's not. What is it, Amy? No. I know exactly who you mean.
Okay.
Keep going.
Anyways, she starts getting letters and telegrams and cards and messages from Gerard Butler. Come to find out, he has set up a system in which he's able to still write her letters for the first year after he passes. And so it's kind of, you watch her like on her healing journey. And who plays like the bartender guy?
Oh,
it's someone famous. Oh, it's Harry Connick Jr. Is her,
yes,
her mom owns a bar, so she's kind of like, you think maybe she's gonna end up with him, but then nothing ever comes of that. But you just watch her heal and get over the loss of her husband, and she has these best friends. And I do think like it does a good job of making comments on like how not linear grief is, and how like it does get to a point where your friends are like, okay, like our lives are moving on, like are you on the train with us or not? Which I think is really interesting. But the very last one of the letters is he sends her and her best friends to Ireland to go and have a trip, and she ends up like hooking up with the first guy she's ever hooked up with since he passed. And so that I think was a big healing moment for her. And so basically the whole purpose of the movie is watching her heal from this and just learning about grief, especially for like a widow so early in her marriage. And so definitely like a sappier, sadder rom-com. Definitely iconic. I did text Audrey Ferguson while I was watching it and was like, Snaps is the name of the game. The name of the game is Snaps. That line like stuck with us. And I did like fully cry watching it, just missing my middle school girlies, because this was one of our like regular watches.
Oh.
Yeah.
I did not realize that.
Yeah, it was.
So we chose it because of the Irish factor. And when, like I said, when you type in rom-coms, P.S. I Love You comes up. It's 2007. Elena's right. It's Hilary Swank, and Gerard Butler plays her husband, Jerry. Her name is Holly.
Oh, yeah.
And I actually really enjoyed the first 15 minutes of the movie where they show you inside this argument that Elena alluded to of, where are we at in our marriage? And they're in this really teeny tiny apartment, which I thought was realistic in New York.
I thought it was big for New York just because I have friends that live in New York and their apartments are not that big.
Well, I think for her job, like she has a good job. Mm-hmm. She's a high real estate agent, high income.
And I think they live in like Brooklyn or Williamsburg. So like a more affordable area.
But the argument just really is like, yep. I mean, you're sitting there listening to it going, this sounds right about right. So from a far-fetched standpoint, I think what really resonated with people like, oh, this is kind of out there, is the fact that Jerry, her husband, set up this trail. It's like basically a year of a treasure hunt of letters where he has her go out and start to live her life again. Here's the deal with P.S. I Love You. First off, it's got good supporting cast. It's got Kathy Bates plays her mom, mm-hmm. and I just truly love that woman. I think part of the reason why I love Kathy Bates so much is because she was older when she came to acting in the public eye, and I always appreciate women who accomplish things not in the time frame that it's quote unquote supposed to be, especially now that I'm looking for a new career path at the age of 52 because I'm leaving teaching and I don't know what to do. And so anybody who's following their passion at a later age, I'm like, you go. I think you're amazing. So love Kathy Bates in that role. Lisa Kudrow is one of her best friends.
The other best friend's famous too. I don't know her name though.
She is. I think that that Lisa Kudrow, her name's Gina Gershon, the other best friend, Gina Gershon. I think that she's from Cocktail, by the way, if anybody's ever seen Cocktail.
Love Cocktail.
Love that movie. The supporting cast really does a lot to move along the story. I mean, I would watch Harry Connick Jr. watch paint dry because I love him. And I just as a side note, recently saw him in concert for his Christmas concert, and he's just precious. And so that was another really good supporting cast. But Hilary Swank misses the mark, in my opinion, as a rom-com actress.
Really? I do feel like there was some aspect about the movie that wasn't hitting. There's something holding it back from being a really great movie, but I couldn't pinpoint it.
This is going to sound terrible. I want us to have this conversation, Elena. It's going to be controversial. And I'm going to steal it from The Office. Any of our friends out there who have watched The Office over and over and over again may know what I'm about to say. Elena, do you?
Oh, how the turntables? I don't know.
They had a contest one day when Michael was out of the office.
Is Hilary Swank hot? And Kelly's like...
Is Hilary Swank hot?
I am Kelly, because Kelly's like, if she's not hot, then I'm not hot.
You're so stupid. You're so stupid. And when I watched that episode of The Office, I was like, what an interesting question. Because she is definitely one of those actresses where you're like,
No, but I feel like it's like Julia Roberts, where it's like she's so unique looking. She's not cookie cutter, but I do think she's really beautiful.
But I am not the only person who feels like Hilary Swank was not meant for that role. As a matter of fact, back to the critics we go, my darlings. I get the biggest kick out of how clever some of these people truly are. Rotten Tomatoes, I'm on Wikipedia. Rotten Tomatoes, though, gives it a score of 25% for critics. Now, audience came in at 80.
Okay. Yeah, people love this movie.
They do. But the website, Rotten Tomatoes consensus, where they kind of piece together all of the critics' reviews, says Hilary Swank is miscast as the romantic lead in this cliched film about loss and love. And I just feel like that. It's Manola Dargis of the New York Times said the film looks squeaky clean and utterly straight and very much removed from the shadow worlds in which Miss Swank has done her best work. So, like, the consensus is that she's much better in a dramatic role. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen, I have not seen it, but she won for $1 Million Baby.
Never seen it, but I've heard it like quoted a lot.
Which is the movie with Clint Eastwood where she's a female boxer. And it kind of makes me want to watch it. It's a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I'm sure it's really good. But that I read several reviews where they said she's meant for drama. She is not meant for romantic comedy. Now there were definitely, for me, there were scenes in P.S. I Love You that I found her endearing. Like when she was singing along with Judy Garland.
Yeah, Star is Born.
I thought that she did a beautiful job in that scene. Oh, hey Lou, the scene where Gerard Butler, which by the way, handsome.
Oh yeah.
Where do you rank him 1 to 10?
Like an 8 or 9.
I would say so.
He's
too.
like beefy.
I find him very attractive.
Yeah.
You know when he's stripping?
The beginning? Yeah.
Yeah. When he, when the little piece of his suspenders goes flying, when they were filming it, hit her in the head, and they had to stop filming and go get stitches.
Oh my God. Yeah, I believe it. Like, that looks painful.
That looked really painful. let's see here. I wanted to read you another one that I read that I was like, oh, that is just, oh, guys, this is so bad. This is so bad. John Anderson of Variety. The question of love after death has been asked frequently enough in the movies, but seldom with the high ick factor around P.S. I Love You, found in P.S. I Love You. This post-life comedy will have the sentimentally challenged weeping openly while clutching desperately to the pant legs of boyfriends and husbands who are trying to flee up the aisle.
Oh, it's me.
Richard LaGravense's, I'm saying that wrong, but he's the guy that did the directing, trip into Lifetime territory may define the guilty pleasure of the genre. As an exercise in chick flickery, P.S. I Love You wants to possess the soulfulness of harsh reality and the lilt romantic fantasy at the same time. In this case, at least, it simply cannot be done.
I don't agree. There are definitely some parts that like I think could have been better. I almost like didn't get the point of Harry Connick Jr. because like if they're not going to end up together, like kind of like what was the point?
Okay, I have a different take on that.
What's your take?
I feel like I thought it was very realistic that there would be, because she is attractive, let's just say she is very attractive, that there would be some man who has had his eye on her and thought, oh, but she's married. And then something happens to her husband, whether it be death or divorce, and that person is like, if I wait too long, the window's going to close. I've got to take my opportunity right now. I thought that was very realistic.
Did you thought it was realistic when they kiss and they both are like, no?
I sure did.
Okay.
I did. I felt like because they had become friends by that point. You know, haven't you ever, let me ask you this. Here's a question for you. Have you ever gone on a date with someone and then, you know, when it was time for goodnight, you kissed them and you went, no, no.
Yes, I have.
I have too. So I could not in the last 35 years.
And you're like, I want to like this person so bad, but I can't do it.
It's just like, what's the one on Friends, honey, when Courtney Cox is with...
Richard's son?
No, well, that was gross. No, honey, who's the guy that, and he buys the ring and she thinks he's buying the ring, but he bought the wrestling ring?
I just watched that. David? No, David's the scientist. Jon Favreau's character.
And she's like, on paper, he is so amazing. And I love spending time with him, but I am not physically attracted to this man. Mm-hmm. And it's true. So I liked that part of it.
Mm-hmm. Because I do like, and now that you put it in that context, I get that. Because I love, one of my favorite aspects is that, like, and I mentioned this earlier, but her friends start to get annoyed with her because they have, like, things are happening in their lives, and it's just so realistic because I understand why Hilary Swank is like, it hurts her to see people getting pregnant and getting engaged, but then I also totally get that her friends are like, okay, like, but you're my best friend and I want you to be my maid of honor. I want you to be the godmother. Like, I thought that, yes. I liked that. I feel like if they didn't have that in there and it was just everyone comforting her all the time, it would have been too Hallmarky.
I agree with that. That's why I say, and I'm sorry to say it, but I think if somebody else had been in the lead female role, I would have liked this movie a whole lot more. Mm-hmm. And that is not crapping on Hilary Swank's acting ability. It's not the acting. I just, like I said, I found her distracting. I think that if you would put Jennifer Garner in that role, which, by the way, when you put in P.S. I Love You, what pops up is that Catch and Release with her, which is the same. It's the same kind of premise, if I remember correctly, that her fiance dies.
Oh, I need to watch that.
Now she doesn't know what to do, and his best friends have swooped in to get her back into life, and it kind of goes from there. But Elena, it kind of some of this with Leap Year and a little bit in P.S. I Love You makes me think of other situations, especially in Leap Year, where you're going, I don't see this as being a realistic couple. Mm-hmm. Which you see really more in sitcoms. Like I don't know. We went through this age of sitcoms where it was like, really, she married him?
The King of Queens.
King of Queens. There was one that had John Belushi and I can't remember the other.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
The blonde, and you're like, really? I mean, and I think that transfers really negatively into movies because you only have 2 hours to set up or less to set up these characters and to, in those situations, like the longer King of Queens went on, the more you were like, oh, I love Kevin too.
Yeah. Oh,
but
yeah.
if you don't get that in the onset, if you don't get that within the 2 hours, then that shoots your movie, right? Mm-hmm. So did you see Holly and Jerry together as a couple? When you saw them together, did they look viable to you?
Not viable. Maybe. It was almost like similar to Leap Year in a way. It was better done, but like he's the laid back Irishman and she's the uptight, like American, you know what I mean? So I definitely like their chemistry was there. Like when they make up after the fight, I'm like, okay, cute. Like,
yes,
I see it. But
there's some good makeout scenes.
Yeah, I was gonna say in real life, I could see where it's a relationship where like the sex is great, but like long term, who knows if they would have ever had that kid? I felt like their relationship was almost like, do we get divorced or do we have a kid? Like it seemed like that was like. Would you agree?
The answer is always
divorce.
Divorce. Yeah. Don't bring the baby into it.
No.
Okay, so Elena.
Well, really quickly too, did you notice, what are your thoughts about her hooking up with his bandmate? And also, did you notice who that is?
Yes, I did notice who that is. Who is it, Laney?
Denny Duquette from Grey's Anatomy, which I love that trope. I love, like, I wanted them to get married. Like, I wanted them to be together forever.
And there's a little peek at the end that they may. Jeffrey Dean Morgan is who plays one of his best friends from childhood that she runs into in Ireland and ends up sleeping with before she realizes, oops. And I thought that was realistic. I don't know if it is or not because I've been fortunate not to have this experience in my life, but that in order to dip her toe back into the dating market, she just drinks a bunch of wine and jumps into bed just to get it over with, really. And then after they consummate this one night stand is when they realize that he knew her deceased husband very well.
And I think that's realistic because in real life, I've seen relationships where someone has passed and then the best friend and the spouse, the widowed spouse or widow partner get together.
Yes. Yep. That has happened in numerous relationships I've seen over my time. As a matter of fact, Elena, the first one that I ever saw was at Disney. There's this absolutely precious couple that worked where I worked in Epcot, and they were allowed to have badges that had Mickey and Minnie on them as their names because they were gold badges. So that meant that they had been nominated and won an award. And they were just an amazing married couple. And I was newly married. And so I asked them, they were probably in their late 60s, early 70s. And I asked them, what is the secret? And they said, well, this is both of our second marriages. And I was like, oh. And they said, both of our spouses passed away. But we were all four friends. So then we got married. And the secret to their relationship, my friends, in case you're wondering, because they did have an absolutely phenomenal marriage. They said, both of them said, everything I do for him. Everything I do for her. which it sounds unrealistic, but these people were walking the walk. It was pretty amazing.
It's so like rare. People don't think like that.
Yep. No, they don't think like that. And I don't think like that.
I don't either. I mean, no. Yeah.
So, but I mean, I try to, but I'm not good at it. But anyway, so, I don't even know what my point was on that, except for that was a sweet story. Elena, do you ever see yourself that you would have been in a world where you would have asked Greg to marry you?
Well, I was asking him for a while. Not like that, though, but I was like, where's my ring? Which, obviously, looking back now that my prefrontal cortex has developed, I'm like, girl, what? I thank God every day that Greg is a good human, because that could have gone so horribly wrong.
But do you think you ever would have?
No, and especially back then, I was so like, just wanted everything to be a fairy tale, and it had to be the way I envisioned it.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I don't think, although I said I love you first to your father. It was a whole 2 weeks into our dating, and I was tired of waiting. That's your mom right there. 2 weeks of dating, and I was like, hurry up and say I love you.
Yeah, but you had the spark.
We had the spark. I knew 20 minutes into our first date, I came home and told my roommates, I'm going to marry this man. And I was not on the marriage warpath at all. So it's not like I was like, I'm going to find myself a husband. I was like, I'm going to be independent till I'm 30. And then I went on the first date with your dad, and I was like, oops.
I feel like I had it the other way around. I was like, I want to get married at 16, and then turned 24 and was like, oh my God, thank God I love this man.
Share with us your stories out there, people. Would you propose to your significant other? Do you think it's a neat thing for women to propose to men?
I have nothing against it,
or to their partner. I shouldn't say women just to men, but to your partner.
Yeah. I want to clarify. I have nothing against proposing to your partner, whoever, whatever gender roles, whatever. I would maybe do it as a 25 to 30-year-old, but back in the day, I wouldn't have. But I have no issue with it. Lorelai Gilmore proposing to Luke, love it. Have no issue.
Well, we have other issues, but
I have other issues with her, but not that. But that's not it.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, okay, before we let you guys go, Elena, what do you celebrate St. Patrick's Day?
Not typically, but I am this year.
Oh, do tell.
My coworker, Nikita, loves St. Patrick's Day, so we're all going to this Irish bar on Wednesday after work to have happy hour, and I'm going to wear Greg's Patty's Pub t-shirt from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh, yes. That's awesome.
Yeah. What about you?
Oh, which, by the way, Caitlin Olsen from Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah. She's in Leap Year for like 2 seconds, and I'm like, she deserves
2 seconds,
more.
Which is too short because we love her. I think she is hilarious. Love her, love her. We are not going to be doing anything because I will be seeing you.
Yeah. Well, I'll see you Friday. Yeah.
I'll see you Friday, and that's actually St. Patrick's Day.
You better wear green or I'm going to pinch you.
Okay, Pumpkinhead. I've got big plans for us. You want to know what we're going to do?
What? Nothing.
I
do.
Isn't that the best? What do you want to do?
Well, I need to get Graham a little Cersei because I have Cersei's for you and then Cersei's for you to take home. So I think I need to get Graham a Cersei. I'm thinking about getting her something from the Flower and Garden Festival.
Ooh, are you going there?
Yeah, I'll probably go tomorrow. I'll probably just go to Epcot and get her something.
How often are you going, baby?
Probably like once a weekend. Or if
you go over specifically to Epcot to see Greg, or do you go to other parks too?
It depends. Usually I'll go see him. If I don't go on a weekend day, I'll go after work and like watch the fireworks with him once a week. But I think tomorrow I'm going to go to Animal Kingdom just to get some steps in.
Oh, that's fun, honey.
Yeah.
You do have a really cool place to wander.
It is so fun.
That is such a blessing. All right, Sugar Cube. Well, I cannot wait to see you.
Me too.
I can't wait to see you. Oh, how do they say goodbye in Ireland?
Wait, what's that?
I don't know, but top of the morning to you. No, that's when they say hello.
I'm gonna insert that Irish song that's like "Fare Thee Well," and that'll be
that's a good one.
That'll be our outro.
That's a good one.
See you later, lassies.
Oh, I love you so much, my darling.
Me lassie. I can't. I can't do it. I can't.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys next time. Hey, Elena, what are we going to do next time?
I can't remember. Did we already discuss it?
I think we already discussed it, but I have a favor.
Yeah.
Well, I think she and I were talking about doing a Jane Austen episode where we do Pride and Prejudice, Emma,
it's a good
Sense and Sensibility.
springtime one.
What, honey?
I said that's a good springtime episode.
That's a good springtime one. And then sometime either we'll do that one next, or Elena, can we pretty please do Life of the Party, please?
Yeah.
Please.
We can do Life of the Party. And then I really want to do Calendar Girls sometime between now and like end of May for spring.
Okay, so let's do this. We'll do Calendar Girls next.
Oh, next.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll do Calendar Girls next for spring. Then we'll do Jane Austen. Then we'll do Life of the Party.
Perfect.
All right. All right, guys. So hang in there with us. We love you so much.